Musician and actor Elvis Presley rose to fame in the mid-1950s on the radio, TV, and the silver screen, and is one of the biggest names in rock and roll history. Elvis Presley's famous 1968 television special, which reignited the music icon's career, is the subject of the new Paramount Plus documentary Reinventing Elvis, the '68 comeback. Streaming August 15th in the US and Canada, the movie provides a behind-the-scenes look at Presley's legendary performance, which became the most-watched television event of that year. It will also feature updated versions of classic Elvis hits performed by Darius Rucker, Latin Grammy winner Mafio, and more. Elvis Presley came from very humble beginnings and grew up to become one of the biggest names in rock and roll, commonly referred to as the king of the genre. By the mid-1950s, he appeared on the radio, television, and the silver screen. On August 16, 1977, the 42-year-old died of heart failure, which was related to his drug addiction. Since his death, Presley has remained one of the world's most popular music icons. Elvis Aaron Presley was born on January 8, 1935, in Tupelo, Mississippi. He later changed the spelling of his middle name to the biblical form of Aaron. Presley was supposed to be a twin, but his brother Jesse Garon, sometimes spelled Jesse, was stillborn. From very humble beginnings, Presley grew up to become one of the biggest names in rock and roll. Raised by loving working-class parents, Vernon and Gladys, Presley and his family had little money, and they moved from place to place frequently. He was deeply devoted to his parents, especially his mother, and was raised to have a strong faith in God. Presley attended the Assembly of God Church with his parents, where gospel music became an important influence for him. Presley received his first guitar as a gift from his mother on his 11th birthday in 1946, and had his first taste of musical success a few years later when he won a talent show at Humes High School in Memphis. After graduating in 1953, he worked a number of jobs while pursuing his musical dream. He cut his first demo record at what later became known as Sun Studio that year, and before long Sam Phillips, the record label owner, decided to take the young performer under his wing. Presley soon began touring and recording, trying to catch his first big break. That's All Right was Presley's first single in 1954 and 1955. Presley began to develop a following with fans being drawn to his unusual musical style, provocative gyrating hips, and good looks. That same year he signed with RCA Records, a deal worked out by his manager Colonel Tom Parker. Presley was on a roll, scoring his first #1 single with Heartbreak Hotel, as well as his first #1 album, Elvis Presley, and signing a movie contract with Paramount Pictures, all in 1956. Despite the uproar that his sexy dance moves caused, he also became a popular guest on a number of television variety shows. Soon, Presley was everywhere, working as a musician and actor. His first film, Love Me Tender, 1956, was a box office hit. Throughout his amazing career, Presley helped popularize rock and roll music in America, earning his nickname as the genre's king. He also won 3 Grammy Awards for his gospel recordings. A major musical force, Presley had 18 #1 singles, including Don't Be Cruel, Good Luck Charm, and Suspicious Minds, as well as countless gold and platinum albums. His career launched into superstardom thanks to a September 9, 1956, appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show. 60 million viewers tuned in to watch Presley, then 21 performed Don't Be Cruel as well as Hound Dog and Love Me Tender, complete with the hip gyrations many found vulgar. He appeared 2 more times on the show over the next year, with the third censored from the waist down. Presley's 1957 album Elvis's Christmas Album topped the Billboard charts for 4 weeks and would go on to sell more than 20 million copies in various editions, becoming the most popular holiday album of all time. Also in 1957, Presley's song for the film Jailhouse Rock of the same name reached #1. Rolling Stone ranked it 216th on its list of the 500 best songs of all time in 2021. Other notable Presley hits include Blue Suede Shoes, Can't Help Falling in Love, All Shook Up, Let Me Be Your Teddy Bear, and Are You Lonesome Tonight? In 1986, Presley was one of the first performers inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but he has been recognized for his contributions to several musical genres, most notably rock, country, and gospel. In 1998, Presley was posthumously inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. 3 years later, he was posthumously inducted into the Gospel Music Association's Gospel Music Hall of Fame. Even a stint in the U.S. military couldn't put a damper on Presley's thriving career. He received his draft notice in 1957 and was inducted into the Army the following March. He eventually served in Germany for about a year and a half. Shortly before Presley left for Europe, his beloved mother, Gladys, died. He was granted a leave and returned to Memphis for the funeral. Deeply saddened by her death, Presley returned to duty. While in Germany, his spirits were lifted slightly when he met a young teenager named Priscilla Beaulieu. The pair fell in love and married on May 1, 1967 in Las Vegas, Nevada. After leaving the Army in 1960, Presley resumed his career and was soon back at the top of the charts with the soundtrack for his film GI Blues. He continued recording music and acting in such films as Blue Hawaii 1961, Girls, 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 1962, and Viva Las Vegas, 1964. Although his films were often hit or miss with both critics and audiences, they brought in a profit, and the soundtracks usually sold well. By the late 1960s, however, the enigmatic performer appeared to be losing his box office appeal. Proving he was still the king, he recorded his first TV special in 1968, often referred to as the '68 Comeback Special. He wowed audiences with his performance, which showcased his talents as a singer and a guitarist. Around this time, Presley's personal life also seemed to be on an upswing. A year after he and Priscilla married, they had a daughter, Lisa Marie Presley, in 1968. Unfortunately, this joyous time would not last. By the early 1970s, Presley's marriage was falling apart. The couple divorced in 1973, and Priscilla received custody of Lisa Marie. Presley was also wrestling with other personal problems, including a growing addiction to prescription drugs. The once thin rock star was battling a weight problem, and his destructive lifestyle caught up with him that fall when he was hospitalized for drug-related health problems. Despite his personal obstacles, Presley remained a popular draw in Las Vegas and on tour. He performed at his last concert in June 1977, in Indianapolis, Indiana. After the concert, he returned home to his Memphis mansion, Graceland, to prepare for another tour. On the morning of August 16, 1977, Presley died of heart failure at the age of 42. It was later ruled that his death was related to his prescription drug abuse. Presley was buried on the Graceland property, near the gravesites of his mother, father, and grandmother Minnie Mayhood Presley. Presley's passing brought sadness to many. The FDD Flower Delivery Service reported that more than 3,100 floral arrangements were ordered the day of his death, setting a one-day record in the United States. An estimated 18,000 people with signs, flowers, and memorabilia lined Elvis Presley Boulevard in Memphis to catch a glimpse of his funeral procession on August 18. According to the Washington Post, a white Cadillac hearse transported Presley's body, which laid inside a rose-covered coffin. About 200 family members attended a private ceremony at Graceland. Celebrities and notable figures like John Wayne, Burt Reynolds, Anne Margaret, and Caroline Kennedy were also there. Presley was survived by his only daughter, Lisa Marie, and 4 grandchildren, who were all born after his death. Lisa Marie and her first husband, Danny Keough, had 2 children. Daughter Danielle Riley Keough in 1989 and son Benjamin Storm Presley Keough in 1992. Now an actor, Danielle goes by her middle and last names Riley Keough. She has had credited roles since the 2010s and recently starred in the series Daisy Jones and The Six. In 2008, Lisa Marie and her 4th husband, Michael Lockwood, had twin daughters, Harper Vivian and Finley Aaron Love. Presley's height varies by source, but he is generally believed to be around 6 feet tall. Army records have listed him at an even 6 feet, but an authenticated paper driver's license that sold at auction in 2015 said Presley was 5'11". A costume designer that worked with him has also claimed he is slightly under 6 feet tall. Presley's go-to snack was a fried peanut butter and banana sandwich. His former cook Mary Jenkins Langston detailed the process of finding the perfect recipe in a 1996 BBC documentary, The Burger and the King. According to Priscilla Presley, Elvis rejected Langston's first 5 attempts at making the sandwich before his father suggested toasting the bread first. It worked, but Langston had to use 2 sticks of butter for every 3 sandwiches Presley requested. She said he would ask for the delicacy at all times of the day, including the middle of the night. The same documentary said Presley's love of food went back to his childhood in Mississippi. His family sometimes ate squirrel, but he was most fond of pig feet, collard greens, and chitlins. Among the other foods Langston cooked for Presley, often in large portions, were meatloaf, cheeseburgers, chicken fried steaks, caramel cakes, and banana pudding. He said that the only thing in life he got any enjoyment out of was eating, Langston said. Presley and his family owned a variety of different pets and animals. Elvis had a turkey named Bowtie, and his mother and father raised chickens and hogs on the land surrounding Graceland. At one point, Elvis had a mynah bird that was trained to repeat excuses for why the singer couldn't come to the telephone. Presley also owned several horses and dogs throughout his lifetime. Presley also bought a chimpanzee named Scatter in 1961. The chimp wore human clothes and often hung out with Elvis and his friends, but eventually became difficult to control. He was known to drink alcohol and trash dressing rooms on film sets. It is alleged that Graceland servants became so tired of dealing with Scatter's antics that they poisoned him. Presley's Memphis home, Graceland, is open to the public, and numerous fans from around the world visit the legendary residence annually. Especially around Presley's birthday and the anniversary of his death, thousands of fans traveled to Graceland on August 16, 2012, the 35th anniversary of Presley's death, for a special vigil in honor of the King of Rock and Roll. During the gathering, fans held lit candles and stood outside of Presley's home. Although the Presley family holds a tribute event each year to mark the anniversary of Presley's death, the 2012 gathering was unique. Presley's ex-wife, Priscilla, and daughter Lisa Marie appeared together for the first time at the annual event. "You should see this from our point of view. It's amazing," Priscilla said during the event, according to the Washington Post. "The candles are lit. It's truly a sight to behold. This is something that Elvis would never, ever have believed could have taken place here." Lisa Marie became the sole heir to Graceland following the deaths of her grandfather Vernon and great-grandmother Minnie Mae in 1979 and 1980, respectively. She took ownership of the estate on her 25th birthday in 1993. Lisa Marie passed control of Graceland to her children upon her death in January 2023. However, Priscilla quickly challenged her daughter's will in court, claiming a 2016 amendment that replaced her as a co-trustee of Lisa Marie's trust was invalid. Ultimately, the dispute between Priscilla and her granddaughter Riley Keough resolved in an August 2023 settlement that passed Elvis's estate to Keough and her twin sisters. Since his death, Presley has remained one of the world's most popular music icons. Over the years, several documentaries and films have explored the enigmatic performer. In 1979, John Carpenter directed the made-for-TV biopic Elvis, which starred Kurt Russell as Presley. However, Russell didn't sing for the part. He lip-synced to country singer Ronnie McDowell. The film omits much of Presley's life, including his death, but received 3 Primetime Emmy Award nominations. 2 movies have been made about Presley's famous visit with President Richard Nixon at the White House in 1970. Rick Peters played the king in the 1996 mockumentary Elvis Meets Nixon, while Michael Shannon took the role in 2016's Elvis and Nixon. According to a 2020 Washingtonian article, a picture from the actual visit is the most requested photograph from the U.S. National Archives. A 2005 CBS television miniseries starred Jonathan Rhys Meyers as Presley, with Meyers winning a Golden Globe for his performance. In 2018, a 2-part documentary, Elvis Presley, The Searcher, was released. It explored his early life, rise to fame, and his myriad musical influences. Austin Butler played Presley in the stylish 2022 biographical drama Elvis, directed by Baz Luhrmann. Tom Hanks played Colonel Tom Parker. The film received 8 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture and Best Actor for Butler's performance. Presley's daughter Lisa Marie called the film absolutely exquisite and praised Butler, who channeled and embodied my father's heart and soul beautifully. In 2023, Paramount Plus announced it would stream a documentary, Reinventing Elvis, the '68 comeback, starting August 15th about Presley's famous December 1968 television special. "I'm so proud of this film because it presents Elvis as he really was and looks at a specific moment in time when Elvis took control of his life, his career, and his legacy," said Steve Binder, who directed the 1968 special and serves as an executive producer. Items from Presley's career are coveted at auctions and have brought in big bucks. His first record, an acetate recording of My Happiness, from 1953, sold for $300,000 at Graceland in 2015. Presley originally paid $4 for the recording in 2018. An Omega watch gifted to Presley by RCA Records in 1961 sold in Geneva for more than $1.8 million. The watch is 18K white gold and has 44 diamonds around the bezel. Another 2018 auction, held at the Guest House at Graceland and online, featured more than 200 keepsakes from third-party collectors which were all once owned, used, and signed by the king himself. The highest-priced item, a 1942 Beretta M1934 pistol given to Presley by General Omar Bradley, sold for more than $51,000. Presley's white jumpsuit from his first live performance at New York's Madison Square Garden in 1972 sold for $1,012,500 at the 2021 Artifacts of Hollywood and Music auction. Other Presley items sold included a jar of his hair for $72,500 and his racing helmet from Viva Las Vegas for $23.75. In January 2023, Presley's 1962 Lockheed Jetstar airplane sold for $286,000 in Florida. The plane was in poor shape after sitting at the Roswell International Air Center in New Mexico for decades but featured red velvet upholstery and gold finish hardware. Because of the popularity of his music and his status as an iconic celebrity, Presley impersonators and tribute acts remain in high demand. They range from parodists and amateurs to actual part and full-time professionals. One of the most famous was comedian Andy Kaufman, who made impersonating Presley part of his act in the 1970s and 2007. The BBC hosted a televised competition called The World's Greatest Elvis that featured 30 of the top Presley tribute artists from around the world. Sean Clush from Pittston, Pennsylvania, known as the closest thing to the king, won the title. Since 2007. Memphis has hosted the Ultimate Elvis Tribute Artist Contest during an annual Elvis Week celebration. The winner receives a $20,000 prize. On July 12, 2014, Harrah's Cherokee Casino Resort in North Carolina hosted a Guinness World Record for the largest gathering of Elvis impersonators with 895 in attendance.